you very much. Can we proceed with the thought of the day and Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Soto?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Board of Trustees, HISD family, this evening, we have our principal from McCollum High School, Mr. Marroquin, with two of his students, Mr. Zachariah Size and Miss Scarlett Elvis for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Marroquin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honra la bandera de Texas. Te juro lealtad a ti, Texas, un estado bajo Dios único e indivisible.
Thank you. Now for the thought of the day. Good evening, Superintendent Soto, school board members, district staff, and community members. For today's thought of the day, I look to the words of Martin Luther King Jr., whose life and inspiration we celebrated yesterday. I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism and war that the bright daybreak of peace and brotherhood can never become a reality. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marroquin. Moving on to agenda item 2, I'm going to call the meeting to order. It is 6:18. And I will move on to agenda item 2A, roll call of my colleagues present. Mrs. Carrillo? Present. Ms. Limon? Here. Mr. Mancha?
Present.
Mr. Moreno?
Present, ma'am.
Mr. Luna?
Present.
Ms. Ortiz? Here. And I am here. We do have a quorum. Mr. Soto, would you let me know or let us know who's here from cabinet and staff, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, HISD family, this evening, we have our Assistant Superintendent for Business and Finance, Mr. Richard Hernandez. Here. We have our Executive Director of Operations, Dr. Hinojosa. Here. We have our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, Ms. Casey.
Here.
We have our Executive Director of Human Resources, Dr. Salinas.
Here.
And we have our Public Information Officer, Mariana Valera.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Soto. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item, before we move on to agenda item 3, I want to let everybody know that we also have Dr. Judy Castleberry with us tonight. Hi, Dr. Castleberry. Thank you. Okay, moving on to agenda item 3, public comment. We do have 2 community members that signed up. First community member is Rene Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez. Hello, Mr. Gonzalez. Just as a friendly reminder, you do have 3 minutes maximum to speak. The topics addressed shall be limited to those specifically included on the board's agenda and or district related. We should have a timer and it'll give you a guide as to how much time you have. Go ahead, Mr. Gonzalez.
Perfect. I shouldn't take all 3 minutes, Madam Chair, President, and members of the Board of Trustees. My name is Rene Gonzalez, as indicated, and I'm here representing Garza Gonzalez and Associates, your independent certified public accounting firm. I'm here to speak on reference to item 7C, as I see it on the agenda. And I wanted to take the opportunity to tell you why I'm basically here, investing some time and taking up your time in this important meeting. My reason for being here this evening is to respectively ask you to consider voting against item number 7, wherein you plan to cancel our agreement and preclude us from continuing to serve the district and preclude us from entering into any subsequent RFPs that you may put out. I think this is I think we've performed our services as requested. We've been around the district for a number of years, as indicated to you during our request for proposal. We have served not only the school district here, but a number of other school districts in the state of Texas, a number of other governmental agencies with our specific experience, our professionalism, and our timeliness. And the whole issue about kicking us out is because of independence, because we have been here for a number of years. There's nothing in the law, nothing in the rules that T8 proclaims, the AICPA proclaims with govern us, or the Texas State Board of Public Accountancy that governs us as well. Nothing prohibits us from continuing to serve you. If the services are satisfactory, which I understand they have been, if the fees are reasonable, which I understand they have been. And so I'm here baffled to understand why are you cutting us from a contract that we just went out through an RFP process. Part of the discussions may be, well, you need to exercise your fiduciary responsibility in board members. You did that already. A year ago, you went out through the process of going out for RFPs. You interviewed the firms. You reviewed our written proposals. You interviewed the firms that responded. You asked us questions. We responded to those. You took a vote, and we were luckily continued to serve you. And here a year later, for no apparent reason other than the fact that we've been here for a while, excludes us from continuing with you. I'm not going to get into any of the legal issues because I think there are some that we'd be ready to pursue if you vote on this item. You have the right, of course, to continue with that. I know it's not a popular thing to vote against the particular item, but I think that in this case, it's prudent to vote against this particular item. Or if you want to vote for the item, then why don't you vote to table it so that there could be some more additional discussions. At this point, our firm, our individuals, number of citizens are concerned as to the apparent reason for just cutting us off for no apparent reason that I don't know where the dissatisfaction is. I really don't. And again, there's no policy or law that requires any governmental entity, including school districts, to rotate or terminate
Mr. Gonzalez,
contracts.
that's 3 minutes.
Very good.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you signing up
I
for
did too.
public comment.
Sorry that I had to take your time.
Next community member that signed up for public comment is Natalie Clifford. Ms. Clifford.
Good evening.
Hi, Ms. Clifford. As a friendly reminder, you have 3 minutes maximum to speak. The topics addressed shall be limited to those specifically included on the board's agenda and or district related. There is a timer for you to guide you on your time, and we're ready whenever you are.
Good evening, Superintendent Soto, Cabinet members, Board President Cavazos, board members, and Harlandale ISD community. Happy belated Martin Luther King Jr. Day to all of you. My name is Natalie Clifford, and I proudly serve as the president of the Harlandale Education Association. I'm speaking on behalf of our union members to express appreciation for the school board during National School Board Recognition Month. As democratically elected representatives of our Harlandale and Southside community, you all dedicate countless hours to making decisions considering what will benefit students, families, and staff in our district. We're thankful that you thoughtfully listen to the concerns of our youth, their parents and guardians, and staff, so that we can center the well-being of our students. We come together every month at the school board meetings because we all care about the future of the Southside, San Antonio, Texas, and the world. This is what has kept educators in the field despite challenges we've faced over the past few years, exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. We especially appreciate that this district and school board supported the opening of the Harlandale Care Center in November 2020. The commitment to provide free mental health services for our students, families, staff, and community is unique across Bexar County Public School Districts and should be very much applauded. In the words of Dr. Jeffrey Duncan Andrade, the only way that young people can become informed and empowered is if they're self-actualized and have begun the process of healing and loving themselves. We know that our youth and communities have navigated stress and suffering throughout the pandemic, and this is one example of how the district has taken quite seriously the impact of social emotional wellness on our students' learning. We must support our students, families, and educators in healing in order to be at their best every day in our schools. As educators, we know we are planting seeds that will grow and bloom many years down the road. As union members, we know our collective voice is part of the solution to building stronger public schools, communities, and the world our youth deserve to inherit. We appreciate the opportunities to participate in democracy in our society and as workers in decision-making in the school district. Martin Luther King Jr. was vocal in support of workers' rights to organize themselves into labor unions. In his words from 1968, whenever you are engaged in work that serves humanity and is for the building of humanity, it has dignity and it has worth. One day our society must come to see this. One day our society will come to respect the sanitation worker if it's to survive. For the person who picks up our garbage is as significant as the doctor. For if he doesn't do his job, diseases are rampant and all labor has dignity. In this spirit, again, we express our appreciation that our school board recognizes the centrality of its workers in providing the best quality education that our students deserve. Again, in the words of Dr. Jeffrey Duncan Andrade, ordinary, flawed, everyday sorts of human beings frequently manage to make extraordinary contributions to social change. The present is not inevitable, and the future is open to creation. Thank you all for the gift of your time and dedication to creating a better future alongside our students, families, and communities on the South Side. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clifford. Thank you so much for signing up for public comment. Moving on to agenda item 4, announcements. Ms. Mariana?
Good evening, board members, Mr. Soto, cabinet members. As we know, January is Board Recognition Month. This year, the theme is Forward Together. And our school board members serve our community, our staff, and most importantly, our students. They ensure every one of our students is taken care of and offer the best opportunities available. That's why this year's theme of Forward Together fits us here at Harlandale ISD so perfectly. It pinpoints the root of our school board's goal, and that's to advocate and collaborate with campus leadership, teachers, parents, and the community. So on behalf of everyone at HISD, we would like to thank our board members. I'm going to show 2 different videos. The first one is our board members and what they do and how they feel about being part of the Harlandale ISD community. Yes. Should be 2 videos. Mhm. Nope. Can you pull up YouTube? Sure.
We are here to be the voice of the community, to hear their concerns, to hear their success stories, to share with the district and administration what other parents like myself would like to see for the future of our children's success. We are here to be their voice, loud, clear, and transparent, and to help our superintendent and his staff maneuver the obstacles that may come our way when it comes to children's education. We are here to move beyond those obstacles. We are here to help them guide us all along. So we are not the full authority. We are the full energy and empowerment of our parents and our students.
To me, it offers me an opportunity to work with same-minded people and using education as a mechanism for change. I see education as the great equalizer, and to me, that's what's most pivotal and important, is shaping the lives of others and giving back to our communities, and hopefully leaving them in a better situation than we found it.
We have an opportunity to influence a whole generation of students. Listening is key, and I'm here to listen.
Hondo is a great place to be in. We have great students, great staff, community members. We have a long list of alumni that are always there to support our district. So it's great to be a Hondo ISD district.
It's familia, it's family, it's our roots. It's basically where our ancestors first put the rock to education in the city of San Antonio. So what better place to, but the South Side.
We are a family. Harlandale ISD is a family. And I know our community coming together, our community is proud in our district. So with that being said, just Harlandale ISD, I think everyone is aware or knows about Harlandale ISD.
The goal is always to do what's best for our kids and do what's best for our community. Ultimately, I hope that people can see that we work collectively together as a team and that we're doing our best duty and our due diligence in supporting the needs and concerns of our surrounding community. And ultimately, the goal is to make sure that all our kids are successful and they're productive, and we move them, forward into the next years of their lives where success will meet them.
One of my goals is to inspire people to do better, and that was one of my themes when I ran. Is that I advocate to do better. So I want you to have a better life than I had, and I want you to have the opportunities that I had, because I've met a lot of famous people, met people from the street, but I want to inspire people to do better, not just for themselves, but for their community and their families. And that's what I really want to tell them, and to just keep going forward. You just keep going, whatever obstacles you come across, and to also enjoy your family as you go along this journey, because your family's going to be here only so long. I tell people I'm on my way down. I'm almost 6 decades old, but I still will need to give back and give, be a mentor, be an example for the community to move forward.
As a board member, there's really no legacy that I can leave behind. It's just the legacy that our kids leave behind. That's the important thing to me. Me, I can come and go, but our kids, being able to say this kid made it, it's going to be the next superintendent, next governor, next president. You never know. And what a beautiful thing but for him to come from the South Side.
Now I want to show you the video that our students made for our board members.
To our board members, thank you for everything you do here for the district and for our Harlandale HISD community. We're all very appreciative for everything.
I think a board member makes the impactful decisions that are very important to all of our lives here at Harlandale High School. And I believe that they're very important because without their decisions, we wouldn't have the special career pathways that we would. I would like these board members to know that they're so important to our school, and we are all extremely thankful for all of their decisions and all of their leadership and their values. Thank you for all of the decisions that you have made that impact the lives of me and my fellow students here at Harlandale High School. I think their decisions are very important because they shape the rest of our lives and they give us foundation for the beginning of our futures.
I think a board member helps us with decisions for the school to make it better, and they do that so we can have a better school education here.
Thank you for the resources you provide, for the sacrifices you made,
and thank you for the future you've given us.
January is School Board Appreciation Month, and we thank you for supporting our teachers and our school. Thank you for building positive relationships with our school community and representing our school with integrity.
Este mes celebramos a ustedes. Gracias por enfocarse en el éxito estudiantil y por hacer siempre lo mejor para nosotros.
January is your special month. Thank you for putting us first. Thank you for supporting our teachers, and thank you for caring.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Highlandale board members, for all that you do.
Thank you, board members, for everything that you do for the Harlandale ISD community.
Here we are at Harlandale High School after school. We're on the campus, and this is the first ever high school fishing club on the.
There was. We do have a contact campaign going on. As you know, we message all of our families and our staff members through a mass communication message system. And so we would like to just let the community know that if they've changed their information, it's very important that they go to their campus as far as parents go and update that information with our schools. And for our staff members, they are able to do it online, so they can go through Talented and update their information. But it's very important that we have their most updated contact information, so that if there's ever a message that we need to get out to them, we have the correct information. And we did have the ADA. I don't know if we can, you have that one. If not, we can send it to you. It was in the updated presentation. It's okay. The important dates: spring break, March 13 through March 17. Cultural Arts Fair is April 22nd. Graduations this year will be May 30th, both on the same day at the Alamo Dome. Harlandale High School will be at 10 a.m., McCollum at 2:30. And then June 1st will be FTA at 10 a.m. and STEM at 2:30 at St. Mary's University. And of course, the last day of school is June 1st, which seems like a far away from now, but it will not be. And that's it. I don't know if you have any questions for me.
Any questions for Ms. Mariana? Thank you, Ms. Mariana.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
I
Mr.
just want to have additional comments on, we're thanking people. I need to thank, our all-star athletes that we had participate in the all-star football game. I had the pleasure of enjoying that game. It was really a unique experience because there weren't any bands, marching bands, cheerleaders. The people were there just really for the students, the football players. And it was neat to see, like, many football players had their family and their shirts and their flags, and it was an interesting experience. So I want to shout out to our all-stars, Saxon Lockenberg from high school. And I saw him catch a pass. He was like amazed. We had two players from McCollum, Jonathan and Jason Orozco. They were, I saw, I think it was 66 from McCollum. He made a pretty awesome tackle. So shout out to those guys for representing. Because it was like 65 high schools representing that game. I think the coaches were excited about that. And also shout out to all the kids. I used to teach pre-Ks. Those cards, I never thought of receiving those cards. I mean, for so many years. And so it's neat to receive those. And also the videos from the state school kids. I know some of the fun students are there. And the kids. And then we have some video for us as well. Shout out to them. And also, I just such a shout out so centralized as much as possible. Sometimes that happens. It's beautiful. And that the Harlandale School District overall So a shout out to all those kids and all those teachers and staff and the principal and teacher staff. We appreciate what they do for our kids. Thank you so much.
Good job, Mr. Luna. Moving on to agenda item 5B, that's LSG Lone Star Governance Reporting of Meeting Minutes. Mrs. Ortiz? Did I skip A? I'm so sorry. I did skip A. Sorry. I was just eager for Ms. Ortiz to give us a report. Okay, agenda item 5A, Dr. Hinojosa?
Madam Chair, members of the board, just to review for December, we did have one of our campuses did go through the safety audit. That was Collier Elementary School. And we're just happy to report that there were no findings on that campus. So we'd like to commend Ms. Lozano and her staff and all our staffs for the continued efforts of keeping our schools safe.
Dr. Hinojosa, Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Limon.
I think a parent had asked me, I think the parent asked you to Mr. Dr. Hinojosa, do we post those on our website that we didn't find any findings on Collier, that they did a perfect job on?
No, ma'am. We are required to announce them at the board meetings, but we have to comply with the state recommendations, and that's not one that's been on there.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Parent asked, and I just wanted to come out and ask you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Any other questions for Dr. Hinojosa? Okay, now moving on to agenda item 5B. Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes, in reference to Lone Star Governance reporting of meeting minutes, we use a time use tracker. And the meeting dated December 7th, 2022. On visions and goals, we had 9 student outcome minutes. And the total for other topic minutes were 220 for advocacy and engagement, which means that we had 9 divided by 229 is equal to only 4% of our time was spent on student outcome minutes. The second meeting that I am covering is for December the 12th. For time use tracker purposes under visions and goals, we have 25 student outcome minutes. We had 16 progress and accountability meeting minutes. That means minutes performing board self-evaluations using the LSG integrity instruments, or minutes evaluating the superintendent on student outcome goals, GPMs, constraints, and CPMs. Moving all the way down to other topic minutes, we had 32 minutes spent time on an activity that does not meet the conditions listed above, for a total of 73 minutes. And for that meeting, we used 56% of our time on student outcome minutes. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mrs. Ortiz. And just a friendly reminder, the meeting on December 7th was a board work session. It was informational. No action was taken. And the December 12th meeting, that was our regular board meeting. Thank you, Mrs. Ortiz. Moving on to agenda item 6, consent items.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Moreno.
if I may, I move to accept items A through M as listed on the agenda.
A second. Okay, so motion by Mr. Moreno, second by Mrs. Carrillo. And we're talking about A through M. Okay, I will take the vote. Mr. Moreno, yay or nay, to consent items 6A through 6M.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Mrs. Carrillo? Yay. Thank you. Ms. Limon?
Yay.
Thank you. Mr. Luna?
Yay.
Thank you. Mr. Mancha?
Yay.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yay.
And myself, yay. So agenda item 6A through M, motions pass.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Mancha.
if I may, just real quick, just for the people that are interested in how can we vote real quick on this item? On the Wednesday before the regular board meeting, all of y'all are more than welcome to come to our work session. And y'all can get information that is already on here. And that way y'all can understand why we vote on it just simultaneously instead of individually items. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mancha. I was thinking the same thing. You and I are on the same wavelength. And I'll add to that, that if you don't have a chance to attend, all of our meetings, whether they're work sessions, special call, or regular board meetings, we do have a live feed, so you can watch them from home, and they are on our website, posted for you to view at any time that you have time to view that. So always stay informed, always stay involved, always stay educated with what's happening in your district. Moving on to agenda item 7A. Ms. Casey? No,
Mr. Norberto Gonzalez. will be
Mr. Gonzalez, yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Mr. Soto and Cabinet. Today, I'm going to be discussing GPM on dual credit, dual enrollment, student enrollment, and what our participation looks like. The GPM is 1.2. It's listed as the percent of students who passed one or more dual credit or dual enrollment classes will increase from 28% to 40% by 2023. And you'll see school year, next school year is listed at 45%, followed by 50%. And the way this is measured is if students earn 3 hours of dual credit in math or English, they're part of this measure, or they earn the measure, or if they take 9 hours of any other subject that's not math or ELA, they're also included in this measure. Before I review Harlandale's our performance, I wanted to just review what's happening statewide with CCMR. There's several indicators. The indicators we're focusing on today is dual credit, but I just wanted to kind of give you a broader sense of what's going on statewide. You'll see that since 2018, the state has seen a slight increase in the percentage of students who are earning dual credit, that particular measure I mentioned, by 5 percentage points. And that it's kind of difficult to see, but that's listed at 26%. And I can tell you that our current performance is slightly above the state average. Looking at the other indicators, I just wanted to highlight some significant changes there. The TSIA, I know that's going to be in the March presentation, but I'll give you more details then. But statewide, that we have seen a decline in student performance, 7 percentage points. And the SAT and ACT statewide has also seen a decline in performance. And that's also been nationwide as well. College prep courses has seen an increase. And the other one that's significant is industry-based certifications. I know that's the CTE. I know Tracy would give more information on that, but we have seen an increase in our industry-based certifications with last year's graduating class.
Excuse me.
Yes.
And we're talking about them taking the test and passing.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes. So this is what we look like. This is a look by school year. We went back to 2019, and this is the percent of students enrolled. This is strictly dual credit. So based on our current projection, we are projecting 27.1%. So we will not meet the goal, the GPM goal of 40%. However, we are slightly above the state average of 26%. Again, this data is projected, it's subject to change. And the performance by students receiving special ed and or emergent bilingual services, I didn't include them on here, but their performance range between 1% to 3%. The next couple of slides, we're looking at by campus. So I just wanted to kind of give you some background. Before I go to Harlandale, I just wanted to talk one more point about overall where we're at. We have increased slightly from last year. I mean, it's not significant, but since 2019, we have seen a decline. And there's a couple of factors that are affecting that. One of them being the change of the the TSIA test has, it changed from the 1.0 to the 2.0, where they combine the reading and writing test. And our students, and even statewide, you see that our performance has decreased in that. So that is, that test does allow or provide the students with the opportunity to take dual credit courses. And so that is one factor. And so I'll talk about each school as we look at their numbers. This is Harlandale High School, and you notice in 2019, we were at 30.9%, and there was a dip from 2021, but now you'll see there's an increase from the 2022 to 2023. They've increased their on-ramps in programs, and you'll notice that's one of the causes of the increase. And also they've hired a English dual credit teacher at Harlandale. So students don't have to go anywhere. The teacher's part of the staff, and she started teaching dual credit this school year. So several students are taking advantage of that, and their on-ramps dual enrollment has been consistent. So we are on the increase, which is great news. This is McCollum's performance. Notice in 2019, they were at 36.4%. And you've seen that there's been a steady decline at McCollum. And there's a couple of reasons why. First, their enrollment in the UT on-ramps decreased significantly this school year. We had several courses that were dropped or dissolved because of low student interest. There's also, we couldn't find a qualified teacher for one of them. And then a teacher resigned at the beginning of the school year. So unfortunately, they had to be dissolved. And also the rhetoric course was popular in 2021 and 2022, but more students elected to take AP English language. And so not that the students are not in an advanced course, but the students who were in that rhetoric, which is comparable to English 1301 and at UT, they're now taking English language. And so they'll be taking an AP exam. So they're still in rigorous coursework, it's just a different method. But that explains some of the decreases that we've seen at McCollum. STEM has been solid and consistent. They've been 100% throughout. Again, these are students who are, most of them are earning their associates. This is a slide on-ramp student enrollment. We did expand our course offerings in 2022. Harlandale and McCollum were offering almost the identical courses. So we did peak at 344, but we did go down to 276 students this school year because of the reasons I mentioned at McCollum. Here's a look by school. Notice 2022 was our largest, and you can just see the breakdown. Harlandale's on-ramps has been consistent. It's exactly the same number, which is interesting, but McCollum's did move. And I can tell you that there's around 80 kids who are enrolled in AP English language. So that kind of makes up for that gap there. And so they're just taking an advanced course in a different method, not dual credit or dual enrollment. Are there any questions before I move on? Okay.
Mr. Gonzalez, I do
Yes.
have a question. So between one campus and the other, one campus, Harlandale High School, is either fully staffed on these on-ramp courses? Okay.
They are, yes.
Thank
That is
you.
That is correct. This is not dual credit. This is overall CCMR performance. Those are all the indicators I mentioned at the beginning. And so dual credit is a big factor in determining our CCMR performance, as is TSI, which I'll again present in March. But so you'll see our projections. And in 2021 is not a projection, it is a solid number. If you look up our latest assessment accountability reports, you'll see that 52.4%. And right now, we're projecting for 2022. I know the students have already graduated, but we're projecting 47.9, but we won't get confirmed totals on that until the fall. The data lags for CCMR. These are some things to consider. I've already mentioned actually I didn't mention that first point, but we have expanded our partnership with UTSA downtown. And we now are offering college algebra and a pre-calculus course. So they get 6 hours in 1 year. And that's because that's kind of been our solution because we haven't been able to have a dual credit math teacher for a while. So that's another alternative. We are also in discussion with UTSA, looking at various pathways and opportunities for next year that align with our possibly our CTE programs of study. And there are also UTSA Downtown is offering several courses that do not have a TSI requirement. So that is good news as well, because that's removing a barrier for our kids. They don't have to pass a TSI. So that is something new that we're in discussion. And also, I mentioned this before, but teacher resignation or just vacancies have impacted McCollum's on-ramps enrollment. And a positive thing is that we do have a dual credit English ELA teacher at Harlandale High School this school year. And so, and we are partnered with Alamo Colleges for that. One other thing that I didn't mention on here, but at STEM right now, we are piloting a TSI prep program, trying to get as many students at STEM TSI ready. And so if that goes well, it just launched 2 weeks ago, but if that goes well, we can talk about expanding it to Harlandale and McCollum. There's my contact information if you have further questions.
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Moreno.
Yeah, just to clear some things up, because I thought it was all clear when I saw the presentation, when it was presented, shared with us. I know there's always things that are kind of changed a little bit, but if I can, Mr. Soto, I know you mentioned to us about that partnership with UTSA and how it could benefit us. Can you elaborate kind of on how this could be kind of an equalizer or a balance for some of the shortfalls that we have here?
A&M San Antonio, sir?
Or A&M San Antonio, excuse me.
We're believing that if we, with our partnership with a four-year institute, that we don't lose some of these kids that are just starting out with going to Palo Alto College and going to 2 years and not continuing their education and not following through to get their four-year degree.
Would that be able to curtail some of these concerns with not having the instructors there, or would that kind of alleviate some of that? Or is that still just a different entity?
It's different because STEM Early College, as pointed by Mr. Gonzalez, they're pretty much on plane. This is going to impact the early college high school kids with A&M San Antonio, but yes, sir.
All right. And if you may, Mr. Gonzalez, could you share with us, I know you alluded to the fact of the students with AP versus, dual credit enrollment, and being that we lost a teacher. Were all those students TSI eligible, or were they still needing to pass it? Or is this year, I know COVID year, they did away with it for like a year, but I don't know if it applied to us.
It did, but it didn't really impact the comprehensive schools like McCollum and Harlandale because we didn't have the staff to teach it. So, so when we moved to on-ramps and we expanded it, they don't have a TSI requirement, and neither does AP. So the students who went from the English class and on-ramps to AP English language, there wasn't an additional step that they needed to take in order to enter that class and to enroll in that class.
Okay. And then just to be clear, because I remember when I was in school, you earn credit whether it was a C or an A. You didn't have to necessarily take a test, you just passed tests. Is that the same thing here, or we're looking at it a different composite? Or because I know with dual credit versus AP, you want to be in dual credit because there's always a balance of like, oh, if I didn't do well on this test, I could do here, versus, AP, it's one day and things happen on that one day. And so is it similar or is it different now?
For on-ramps, they get 2 grades. They get a high school grade, and then that's recorded by the teacher of record. And they also have a college grade that's based on the requirements of the UT professor. And so that's mostly like the assessments, maybe a project, maybe a paper.
So just a day-to-day, usual stuff.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what we want them to be in versus the AP to be all
really, we want them in the dual credit if we have the ability to give it to them, right?
Right, and we kind of just want to offer a diverse amount, range of academic courses so the students can choose. We don't want to kill our AP program because some students do really well in it, but it just depends on the student and then working with their counselor to determine what's the most appropriate course. But we just kind of want to offer a wide range rather than just dual credit or just dual enrollment. We want them to have, a selection.
No, certainly. And I know that's a key point. I mean, I always kind of steer my kids to dual credit because you get your credit and you move on. It's free money. It's stuff that your parents don't have to worry about.
Mhm.
And I know with here, we have indicators based off of TA and things like that, where we have to meet certain things and certain caveats and such. But, obviously we want to provide them with everything that we can. And I know Mr. Soto's going to troubleshoot and brainstorm ways to make sure that we have those resources for our kids. So whatever you guys need from us, as we've mentioned to you before, let us know. And I know it's not the district's fault. It's just, there's nobody there sometimes.
Yeah, we appreciate your support.
Thank you. Sorry for going over.
Thank you.
Anybody else, any questions or comments to Mr. Gonzalez?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
yeah, looking at the chart here on slide 33 around there, where it says, based on current projection, will not meet our GPM goal 40%. So what's our plan of action, or what's gonna be, we're gonna have to change our goal, or can you elaborate on that, Mr. Soto?
Go ahead, Mr. Norberto, go
Oh.
over our strategies.
Well, the strategies that we have, I don't know if the goal is going to be revised, but we are working on trying to increase that. And some of those things that I had mentioned, we're working with UTSA, and that's not with STEM. I know with STEM, there's things going on with TMUSA, which would definitely help, but really looking at McCollum and Harlandale and how to increase those numbers. So we're trying to think outside the box. Our students do have to go to UTSA downtown. It's not that far, but they do have the staff available to teach our students. So we have expanded college algebra, pre-cal. We also offer government and economics as well. And we're looking at different pathways and trying to maybe align them with some of our programs of study through CT that don't offer dual credit currently. So we're looking at different ways to offer dual credit. And I know UTSA has also opened up a lot of courses that don't require a TSI requirement. So that will remove a barrier and more students can enroll if they're interested. And Harlandale High School, I know having that dual credit English teacher, that is a great thing because we're able to offer dual credit on campus with the support right there. The students don't have to go anywhere. So those are some things that we're trying to do. We're also looking at different TSI. I know we've had some boot camps. We're looking at that online prep program at STEM to see how students do, and hopefully we can roll it out to Harlandale and McCollum as well, if students do well.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody else?
I'd like to follow up on Mr. Luna's question. Are we in any kind of discussions with Texas A&M, San Antonio, the way we are with UTSA downtown campus? Since we are entering into a new MOU?
Yes, we currently are looking at options for them right now. But our first priority would be early college, high school. That is not part of the MOU. Dual credit would be separate from that. But we have started meeting with them about expanding dual credit there.
Anything else, Ms. Ortiz? Ms. Limon, did you know? I do have questions, but I'm going to send an email because I got to think about what I'm going to ask.
Okay, that'd be great.
I know what answer I'm looking for, but I got to put the words in the question before I can try to get that answer.
Okay.
So I will direct them to Mr. Soto, and then the answer will find its way to me.
Okay, I look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Moreno.
if I may, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, of course.
Ma'am, I move to approve the LSG presentation GPM 1.2, the percent of students who pass one or more dual credit or dual enrollment classes will increase from 28% to 40% by 2023. Do we have to change that to a different year, or do we keep it as listed? Well, the percentage is listed to 40% now. Ms. Casey, is that accurate? Because we're modifying it for this academic year or for 2023, 2024?
This academic year, 2023.
So, okay, so the way I said it is fine then?
Yes, this is accurate.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second. Thank you, Mr. Moreno and Ms. Carrillo for the second. Do we need to open it for discussion any further? Can I move for the vote? Okay, I'm moving it forward with the vote. Mr. Luna, yay or nay on agenda item 7A?
I'm voting no because I don't, just by the presentation, this is not attainable by this year. So why am I going to vote for something that's not realistic in my opinion? So I'm voting no.
Thank you, Mr. Luna. Ms. Carrillo? Yay. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Mancha?
Yay.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Limon?
Yay.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Moreno?
Yay, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Mrs. Ortiz?
I think Mr. Luna brought a very good point because we are not meeting that goal. So I'm going to join Mr. Luna in voting no.
Thank you, Mrs. Ortiz. It leaves my vote. You know, I have a lot of confidence, obviously, in this district, or I would not live here or send my kids to school here. I understand that the difficulties in staffing teachers for these dual language classes or on-ramp, not dual credit classes and on-ramp, is not for lack of trying or lack of thinking outside the box. It is unrealistic that we will reach the 40%. But I know that we are not the only district that is having difficulty in having campuses that are fully staffed with the certified teachers that the students deserve to have. I am going to vote yay on it, but I wanted you all to hear my thoughts on that. So we do have motion does carry on agenda item 7A. Motion passes. Moving on to agenda item 7B. Is that Mr. Hernandez or Mr. Resendez?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hernandez got an update that we had to put on the board book. He's just going to go over it really quick on from the elections office on that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The update that we received today from the election office was that they added Sunday as an early voting date. Last week, we presented early voting only on Saturday, but they have included Sunday, April 30th from 12 to 6 p.m. So I wanted to make sure to alert the board to that. It's noted on page 44 of your board book as it's highlighted.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Are there any questions for Mr. Hernandez on this agenda item 7B?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Moreno.
if there's no questions, if I may, I'd like to make a motion. I move to accept and adopt the joint general election for the Board of Trustees election to be held May 6, 2023, excuse me, for single member districts 5, 6, and 7.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno, for your motion and Ms. Limon for the second on that.
And Madam Chair, if I may
I was
real
gonna say, do
quick.
we need to open it for discussion?
No, just real quick, just to
Yes, sir.
clear some things up, because I know we discussed this on the last meeting, but I'm sure it's just for the benefit of those that may not have been able to join us or attend or view. There is an opportunity if, right, correct, Mr. Hernandez, if any of us were not to have an opponent, we can cancel that and be reimbursed the funds that we would be paying for that particular election, correct?
Yes, the election for that particular single member district would not be run. We need to work with the election office because this is a citywide, it's a joint election. But we need to determine, what election sites aren't going to be used to benefit, that would have benefited that candidate.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So just to keep that in mind, I know Mr. Hernandez will be actively getting that information for us. So I hope at any point that people have questions, they can always refer to Mr. Soto or Mr. Hernandez in regards to the elections. So that's all I had for now, ma'am, unless anybody had anything else to share.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Anybody else? Ms. Ortiz, you're thinking?
Madam Chair, I believe you all were
Yes,
going
Mr.
to
Hernandez.
provide us some sites that you wanted us to propose to the election office if that was a possibility for early voting, if I remember our conversation from last week.
Yes, I believe some of my colleagues and myself were wanted to make a recommendation. I know it may not happen, but we said it doesn't hurt to ask. Do I have to add that to this motion, amend, do a subsequent motion, Mr. Resendez? Or
Yeah,
Mr. Moreno?
subsequent motion would be fine, that we respectfully request these places. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but let's just call the election first.
Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Moreno, you made a motion?
So you want me to go ahead and, you said call the election, so.
Yeah, we can make a second motion after
Okay.
this to request certain early voting sites, but did we get a second?
No.
I think we did get a second.
Oh, Ms. Lim, 1 second. Okay,
Okay.
so,
Yes.
So I'll make an amended motion to,
no, you would just vote on this.
okay.
Yeah. And then go from there. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so if no further discussion on the agenda, on agenda item 7B and Mr. Moreno's motion and Ms. Limon's second, I will move on forward with the vote. Mr. Luna, yea or nay?
Yay.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Moreno, yea or nay?
Nay.
Mr. Mancha, yea or nay?
Sir, we're killing the motion.
No, we're calling the election. And then we're gonna request some early voting sites for. the
Okay, so I
county to
thought you were
cons-
saying a subsequent motion.
No, well, a motion after this first one. Yeah.
But how can we have a motion if we already,
You could have more than one motion on an agenda item.
can we?
Yes, you
Okay,
can.
because I know we've gotten into some.
No, you
other-
can.
Okay,
Yes,
so,
yes, sir.
all right, so I'm gonna rescind what I just said. I'm sorry due to the lack of clarity on my part. Is that possible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Mr.
Okay.
Moreno, yea or nay?
Okay, yeah, because I got confused with subsequent and amended motion because it's kind of the same thing. So, okay, yay, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Mr. Mancha, yea or nay?
Yay.
Ms. Limon, yea or nay? Yay. Mrs. Carrillo, yea or nay? Yay. Mrs. Ortiz, yea or nay? Yay. And myself, yays. Agenda item 7B, motion passes. And I'd like to make a subsequent motion with regards or related to agenda item 7B. May I, Mr. Resendez?
Yes, you may make a second motion. Yes.
So I move to take action on requesting that election poll site precinct 1 become available for the early voting and on election day. Do I need to rephrase? I'll second that.
Is precinct 1 a specific facility?
Yes, it is. It's precinct 1,
The
the
annex-
satellite office.
Okay.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Precinct 1 satellite.
Uh-huh.
Satellite office.
Yes.
Satellite office, yes.
Okay.
Let's be clear. Yeah, okay.
Do you want me to start all over?
No, you got a second too. I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure.
Okay.
So Mr. Hernandez knows what specifically to ask for.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay, so I made the motion, Ms. Limon the second. Any discussion or can I move forward with the vote?
So that's in addition to any of the other
Yes.
early voting sites in
Ex-
Harlandale School
Yes,
District?
it's an
Yeah.
addition, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Mancha, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. Mrs. Carrillo, yay or nay? Yay. Thank you, ma'am. Mrs. Limon, yay or nay? Yay. Mrs. Ortiz, yay or nay? Yay. Mr. Luna, yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Moreno, yay or nay?
Yay, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. And myself, yay. So subsequent motion to request precinct 1 satellite office to be an additional poll site on early voting and election day for May 2023. Passes. Moving on to agenda item 7C. I know we had a presentation on this at the work session. Do we need to open it up for discussion? If we don't, I will put a motion on the table. I move that we not exercise the renewal option under the current auditor's agreement and that we terminate the current auditor's agreement and that we proceed with a request for qualifications for auditing services. Do I have a second on my motion? A second. Thank you, Mrs. Carrillo. Any discussion or can I move forward with a vote?
If I may, Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Moreno.
Just really quickly, because I know there was a concern, but we appreciate the service and we thank you for the efforts throughout the various years that you have served with us. It is a part in accordance with our exit criteria, and it is something that is required to do. Hopefully going forward, things will change and we'll be permitted to have those open engagements later on in the future. So best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to move forward with a vote. Ms. Limon, yay or nay? Yay. Thank you. Mrs. Carrillo, yay or nay? Yay. Thank you. Mr. Mancha, yay or nay?
I will be abstaining from the vote.
Yes,
Just
sir. Oh,
From clarity, from the TA conservator, I would like more clarity from her in the future. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Mancha. Mr. Moreno, yay or nay?
Yay, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Luna, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you, Mr. Luna. Mrs. Ortiz, yay or nay?
No.
Thank you, Mrs. Ortiz. And before I cast my vote, whether our conservator has provided us with an exit criteria goal that is related to this agenda item, I am a true believer of sometimes change is a good thing. It has nothing to do with the quality of work or the lack of. But over 25 years is a long time to be having the same service for no other reason that sometimes it is good to step outside our comfort zone. It's good to, share in the prosperity with other firms and other vendors and other community members. I'm a strong believer that it's good to just have a fresh set of eyes, a fresh set of ears, a fresh set of visions for no other reason other than 25 plus years is a long time. My opinion only. So I am voting yay on agenda item 7C. I do thank the auditor firms that we have had in place for all those years and their excellent service and their commitment to our district. But sometimes we just have to get outside our comfort zone.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, give me 1 second. So motion does pass. Agenda item 7C, motion passes. Ms. Ortiz?
I'm just gonna say, there are some contractors in the district that have been contractors for 20 years or more.
Thank you, Mrs. Ortiz. Duly noted, duly noted. Moving on to agenda item 8, convene in closed session as authorized by the Texas Government Code, chapter 551, sections 551.071 through 551.084. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Moreno.
if I may, I'd like to move to convene in closed session for
Thank-
items A through C, please.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mr. Moreno. Ms. Carrillo, you second the motion? Thank you so much. I will take the vote on convening in closed session per agenda item 8. Ms. Limon, yea or nay? Yay. Mr. Mancha, yea or nay? Mr. Moreno, yea or nay?
Yay, ma'am.
Mr. Luna, yea or nay?
Yay.
Mrs. Carrillo, yea or nay? Yay. Mrs. Ortiz, yea or nay?
Yay.
And myself, yay. It is 7:22. We are going to convene in closed session.
Do you mind if you give Woody
Okay, we are back. Thank you so much for your patience and for sticking with us. It is 8:23. We are back in open session. What is he? Agenda item 8A, no action taken at this time by the board. Agenda item 8B, no action taken at this time by the board. Agenda item 8C, no action taken at this time by the board. Moving on to agenda item 9. Oh, I'm sorry, I did 9. We came back at 8:23. I apologize. Agenda item 10.
Madam Chair? Madam
Yes,
Chair,
yes, Ms. Ortiz.
I move that we adjourn.
Do I have a second on Ms. Ortiz's motion?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Limon. I will take the vote. Mr. Mancha, yay or nay to adjourn tonight's meeting?
Yay.
Thank you. Mr. Moreno, yay or nay?
Yay, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Luna, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. Mrs. Ortiz, yay or nay?
I thought Mr. Mancha was going to announce the McCollum girls basketball team won tonight.
Mr. Mancha?
I'm sorry, I'm nervous because now the boys are tied with 7 seconds left. So I'm thinking of the boys now because my grandnephew is playing over there too.
But I vote yes.
Mr. Mancha is somewhere else right now. Ms. Limon, yay or nay? Yay. Mrs. Carrillo, yay or nay?
Yay, and good night, everyone.
And myself, yay. It is 8:24. Tonight's meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.